what I'd like to do is to have you guys read this while I do it, and then I want you to do one, because I sat with Freddie and she said, so I save it as a preset. No, these are not presets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably read this while you watch me do it, and then I'm going to want you to select a slide, and don't worry what you've done before. And remember to keep the apply during import, and that's when we go ahead. When we say import, we need to make sure that the apply during import is set to none. You do not want to bring in your camera defaults here. That's not where it is. Actually, what's happening is we're registering your camera with Lightroom, so your preferences say, I've seen this camera, I know what the photographer wants me to do. So let me go back to our screen. Ignore the warning that says these are not undoable. They certainly are. So does everybody have a file selected?
Yep.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to read this. Select one of your camera raw files. That's number one. Number 1A is press the alternate key in Lightroom's develop mode. When you hit the alternate key, it says set defaults. When you click on set defaults, you want to say restore Adobe default settings. Okay, so why don't you click on that, and I'll assume everybody is probably done. I'm going to do that. So Adobe takes us back to ground zero. Now, once we're done with that, the second step says enter values. See my default settings inserted below. So I'll talk you through it, but certainly the white balance is as shot. Set the clarity to 11. Everything should be 0 and gray now. In the detail panel, read these to you. The amount is 40. The radius is 0.8. And the detail is 35. Detail panel noise reduction. Everything is 0 except color is 25, detail is 50, and smoothness equals 50. Those are all the defaults. Everybody up to that? So everybody set their details?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So the next thing is the lens correction on the basic tab. Click enable profile correction and remove chromatic aberration. And then the final thing we want to do, camera calibration panel, use your custom profile. If you don't have a profile, I recommend you get one to take the personality bias out of your chip. But if not, use Adobe Standard, because you can certainly see the difference. Look at the red tissue paper up here. Look at that, that's pretty big.
There's a difference there.
Big difference. So if you have it, choose one, and that'll be a discussion for another class or somewhere. Step 3 says, save these settings as your camera defaults. 3A, press the alternate key to change the reset button to the set defaults. Then when you click it, this time you're going to go ahead and said update current settings. Now watch this. Hank, you see your serial number, correct?
Yep.
Paul, do you see a serial number?
Yes, it's there.
You hit update current settings. You now have registered that camera into the Lightroom preferences. If you do this for 2 or 3, 4 cameras, let's just say you have 3 active cameras, you could shoot one. You could take your card, shoot it in one camera, take one exposure, take it out, put it in your second, one exposure, put it in your third camera, one exposure, import those 3 files into Lightroom, and you're going to have 3 different settings. Pretty nice, and especially nice if someone is doing a 2-camera shoot, like a wedding photographer, and they have someone has a teal dress on, which is a tough color, and it's two different colors depending what camera they shot it at. That's where you would benefit from having a camera calibration. Okay, so now when you update your settings, we're done. Okay, so any questions from here? Because I want to go in and start processing, but you understand this is not a preset. It'll import every picture now with this. If
I got a question, Bob.
yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right, I did the picture I took was with my older camera.
Yeah.
So I reset it and set that one to the camera profile for the 40D.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a different picture for my 60 for the defaults. Now, this only applies during import.
Yes.
If I wanted to go back and redo images that are on there from the 40D, how do I batch them to do the conversion? Or you don't want
Well, take one of your 40D images and hit reset to Adobe defaults. Add these values in. Then put in a color profile if you have one for the 40D, and then set it, use the current settings. Now, when it comes in from the 40D here on out, it'll, you know, the numbers we're putting in are the same for all of them, although you may tailor those.
Okay, so I can't do it for any images that are already in my catalog. It really only affects new images that are coming in from old cameras.
Yes, if you wanted to hit reset to any one of your old images in your catalog, the reset now is not going back to where Adobe was. The reset is going back to this new setting.
So I could pick any 40D image that I took 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and hit camera reset. Now that I have one default for 40D in there, we'll reset the 40D.
That's right.
And then if I change over to a 60 and I go back and pull up a 40D image and hit reset, it's going to reset to the 40D even though I'm coming.
No, well, it should reset to the 40D because the camera is in there. Yeah, it'll have a totally different reset because the camera ID is in the metadata.
All right, I'm going to have to try that.
Okay, please try that and post, you know, either an affirmation or not.